everybody, and welcome to episode 114 of the This Old Knit podcast. I am your host, Nina, otherwise known as Ine, on Ravelry, Instagram, and Pinterest. And you can find show notes for this episode and all previous episodes on the corresponding numbered thread of the This Old Knit Ravelry group. So thank you all for joining me. Welcome to any new viewers, and welcome back to any returning viewers. And I have a lot to show you this week, and I'm back in my crafting corner. So I'm hoping the light will be a little bit better here because I have a window on this side. And this time of day, I think the light should be coming in well. So yeah, today is Saturday, June 16th, I believe. And yeah, I've been doing a lot of sewing. So my plan for today is to record the podcast, and then I'm going to work on some sewing for Megwin. I've been focusing mainly on her and getting her some summer things, although it's been pretty cool here. So she hasn't really needed a lot of summer garments. She's done with school, and my thought was, okay, let's just get her through school, and then I'll work on making some skirts and dresses and shorts for her to wear. So yeah, let's jump into it. So this is a knitting and generally crafting podcast coming to you from the central portion of Connecticut. And yeah, I feel very discombobulated right now. I don't know why. Actually, I was preparing to record, so I was getting everything ready, and I was washing my makeup brushes. Saturday is also the day that I do a lot of cleaning around the house, so I clean all of the bathrooms and do laundry, sweeping, etc. And I was upstairs washing my makeup brushes, and the neighbor, oldest child, came over to play. And I heard the doorbell ring, and I was like, I'm not going to answer it. And then I remembered, my car's out of the garage. She's going to know somebody's home. So I came down, and I told her that Josh and the kids had just left for the gym. And she came in like she's just going to stay. I'm like, honey, I will text your mom when they come back, but I have stuff I have to do. And she's like, I don't want to wake up my brother and sister. They're napping. I'm like, okay, but I think you can be quiet in your own house, right? And she's like, okay. So I think she wanted to stay and just hang out while the kids weren't here. But yeah, I have stuff to do. I have podcasting to do. I actually don't have the children right now, so I need to take advantage of it to get all the things done that I don't get done when they are here. So I'm trying to think of where's the best place to start. I'm just going to do FOs, and I will mix in knitting and sewing FOs. And please let me know in the either the comments of the video or the comments in Ravelry if you'd prefer I kept the sewing separate. I can do that as well. I could do like all knitting content and then all sewing content. I know some people don't do any sewing, so it may not be as interesting for my viewers who joined me a long time ago when it was predominantly knitting. Can't remember if I had my sewing machine at that point or not, but I feel like it took me a while to actually get back into sewing, and I was just making project bags. So anyway, yep, let me know. But for today, I'm going to mix it all in. So we'll start with a knitting FO. And these are kind of gross because my husband's worn them. But I will also insert a picture. Hello. Got a little blurry. I'll insert a picture of the completed socks before I show them to you in real life. But here's the picture. Aren't they nice? So these are socks for my husband that, like I said last time, were on the needles for 3 years, and they're done. So I knit them out of West Yorkshire spinners in the mallard colorway with contrasting heels and toes in Knit Picks Rosada in the cocoa colorway. There are two, just so that you know and believe me. Although I showed you a picture, you should believe me. And they fit him really well. He said that these are, I've got it down at this point. Like, we did a bit of experimenting with different lengths, different cuff lengths, different like lengths of heel flap to see if that helped with this arch. And I think this is, his sock pattern. So I use 72 stitches. It's on a US 1.5, I think. It's a 2.5 millimeter needle. And what else do I have to say about them? Nothing. So as you all know, I'm hosting a self-striping cowl, or if you don't know, you know now, I'm hosting a self-striping cowl. So for that, you can make anything out of self-striping yarn. It can be hats, mittens, gloves, hand warmers, socks, bags, cowls, whatever. Just that it's self-striping yarn. So these count for that, and that's helping motivate me to finish a lot of the stuff that I have on the needles that is in self-striping yarn. I have quite a bit, actually. And I also noticed that on Ravelry, a lot of my whips that I have are not actually created projects in Ravelry, which is kind of unfortunate because for some of them, I know they've been on the needles for quite a long time, but at this point, I don't remember. I remember vaguely when I started them. So what I've tried to do is I'm making a project page, and there's a feature in Ravelry when you go to the calendar, you can go to like the month when you think you start, the month and the year when you think you started them. And then at the bottom of the calendar, it says, I don't know the exact day. If you click on that, it'll just put in your project page like July 2016, for example, and it doesn't have the exact date. So that's really helped me at least get a rough notion of how long it's taking me. Not that it matters. I don't care about how long things take me, but it helps me to kind of prioritize a little bit if there are things that have been on the needles for a long time. So I really like how these turned out. I will say that West Yorkshire Spinners signature 4-ply yarn is a thin yarn. I knew that before because I've made Christmas socks out of it in their Hollyberry. I believe Hollyberry was the first Christmas color that they did for myself, and I ended up having to go down a needle size, and that's actually what led me to changing to the 2.5 mil needle as my standard sock needle. But they're fine, and they're very durable. I've had those socks for 3 years, maybe 4 years now. I finished them the Christmas that sock yarn came out. So however long since that was released, that's how long I've had those socks. And I don't just wear them at Christmas. I wear them whenever. They're just in my normal sock rotation. So socks for Josh. And then a sewing whip that I completed is this dress for Megwin. So last time I podcast, I showed the fabric, and it's a fabric with little pigs frolicking in a field. It's somewhat sheer, but when she's wearing it, you can't really see through it or anything. My camera is doing a lot of autofocusing. So this is a very basic pattern. It's actually from a book called 1 Yard Wonders, and I've got it on my lap right now to show you. So Fabric by Fabric, 1 Yard Wonders is the name of the book, and this is a really cool book. So if you are new to sewing and want to learn about the different fabrics and what they are best suited for, this is a great book for you. It has an envelope with all the patterns in it, and it goes through a pretty detailed walkthrough of all of the fabrics and how to choose the right fabric. And then it gives you, oh, come on. Hello. It gives you sample projects for each of the different types of fabric that take 1 yard or less. A lot of them take less than a yard, but they're very wide ranging. It's everything from, like, this umbrella is actually in here. So it's what is that called? Sorry, my washing machine is clearly out of balance because it's making really loud noises. Sorry about that. I paused it so that my washer could run its course. We moved stuff around because Josh built some shelving down in the basement. And maybe I'll insert a little video of that at the end so that you can see it, because it is pretty cool. It's really using this basically unusable space in our laundry room that was right next to the washer, and now we have a lot more shelving down there. But I think when we push the washer back, it's maybe not level at this point. So the spin cycle was really loud. Like I'm on a different floor of the house and I could hear it pretty loudly. So anyway, One Yard Wonders goes through all the different fabrics, a variety of different projects from child size to adult size, to housewares, baby stuff, toys, bags. So it's a really good book. But in it is this dress called the Playday Frock. And it's really straightforward. So it's only 6 pieces. So it's a front and a back, 2 pockets, and the 2 sleeves that then get joined with the top. And now that I'm not showing it to you, I'm going to put this down because it makes it hard for me to move around. I don't know why it's not auto-focusing. It's really annoying me. So this dress. So this is fabric that I got from my mom cleaning out her basement. She had a lot of stuff in like an old trunk, and this is one of the fabrics I took. I have a lot more different fabrics, and I want to work my way through them. I think I have enough of this to make a shirt for Joshua as well, because he loves piggies too. But here's a close-up of the pockets. They're a great size for Megwin. She loves having pockets on stuff. Don't we all? Here's a detail of the sleeves. So they're basically just these little cap sleeves that you then integrate into the neckline, and then you just put like really small elastic. My elastic I had on hand was actually smaller than what's called for. I think I had 1/8 inch elastic, and it called for 1/4 inch elastic, but it's fine. It seems like it's okay, and it's not rolling around in there. And honestly, when you get to 1/8 of an inch, it's almost like a tube anyway. So it's okay. And then the other cool thing is that the armhole is finished with bias tape. So that's nice for not having to turn down this tiny baby hem and get it to go around a curve. And I think it looks really neat. It's a good way to finish it, and it makes it pretty durable for a little kid to be able to wear it. So yeah, it was very straightforward. Honestly, what took me so long was that I had to go buy bias tape, because I have some bias tape that's this color somewhere in this house. I bought it for Megwin's nightgown, her penguin nightgown from a couple years ago, and I didn't end up using it because I realized later it was supposed to be for the elastic casing in the sleeves to draw them in, and she didn't want that. Her sleeves are just loose. So I have a package of bias tape somewhere that's this color, but now I have 2 because I couldn't find it. So I just went and bought another one. But I'll have to keep that in mind because I do want to make more of these, and I'll have to remember that I either have to buy bias tape or I have to make bias tape, which I don't want to do, but I guess I could. So yep, Playday Frock, piggy fabric. Megwin has already worn it. She wore it to the next to last day of school. And it was actually really cold, so she wore it over top of a long sleeve shirt and jeans. But I love that she wanted to wear it, so it makes me really happy. And then in terms of whips, I don't have a lot of stuff either because I've been really focusing on a couple of things. But for sewing whips, I have this skirt. This is again for Megwin, so it has pockets on the front. They are also edged with bias tape, and it's going to have like, you know, thick elastic in this waistband. So all I have left to do is put the elastic in the casing, and I have to hem it. And this fabric is just like quilting cotton that I bought from Joann's in a fun chemistry print. So yeah, once I finish that, she'll have another skirt. And then for knitting whips, I've really been just working on one thing. And that is my Tinea sweater. So if you'll recall last time I was talking about that I really wanted to cast on a Tinea, and I was working on a colorwork sweater. I was working on the Cipolla sweater, and I'm still intending to finish that. But I started thinking like, okay, I'm going to finish this, but I'm not then going to be able to wear it for a little while because it's going to be too warm. And I do want to make full sleeves on that one because I want it to be a winter sweater, not 3/4 sleeves for a summer sweater. Oh God. Or a fall sweater. My arms really hurt. I was lifting a lot of boxes at work, going through like records and stuff. So my biceps really hurt. I'm glad I didn't do an extra biceps workout. My eyes are super blurry right now. There we go. Maybe it's not the camera, maybe it's me. So I cast on for my Tinea, and that is a pattern by Caitlin Hunter, who is Boylan Knitworks. I was originally intending to do this in the Succulents colorway, but I decided not to. So I am doing it in the Jilted Rose colorway from Wool and Vine Yarns, and this is in her Strasse base, which is a discontinued base that she had a really long time ago. So it was like her 75-25 merino nylon sock blend. And I believe now the only true sock yarn she has is Footsie. So this was back when she had a 75-25 merino nylon blend. And this was the original version of Jilted Rose. So I believe there were only 2 skeins of this. And then she later did this colorway as a Valentine's colorway, but I have a skein of the other one. I should go and get it so you can see the difference. Okay. And we'll see with the lighting if you can even tell at all. But I cast it on with the original color, which is this one. It's a really beautiful, like, dusty mauve color. And then this is the version that she dyed later, although this is a Misfit skein, so maybe it's not. But here's the other skein I have, and you can see how much pinker it is. Yeah, I definitely can tell on the camera which one is pinker. So this one is a lot pinker than this one. This one is more of a purple side of the mauve spectrum. So I had 2 skeins of this in my stash, and the Tinea calls for exactly the yardage of 2 skeins of Strasse. I'm making the size small, partly because Caitlin Hunter's patterns are oversized, and the Tinea is written saying to knit the size that gives you like 10 to 14 inches of positive ease. And it's also supposed to be a cropped, top. I don't want mine to be cropped, and I also don't want 10 to 14 inches of positive ease. So I selected the size small, which is a 38-inch bust. And I pretty much know my gauge on a size 5 needle with Kristen's yarns because I've knit all the bases at this point on a size 5 needle. So I knew that my gauge would basically give me the size that I wanted using the small. So the bottom lace portion is actually quite a bit larger, so it flares out and you are decreasing stitches throughout the lace work until you get to the body stitches. And the body stitches are pretty much the stitch count that's the same as my Sperry. This is also knit at roughly the same gauge as what I'm knitting, so I should be fine based on stitches per inch. And it does not include any waist shaping. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go like a maybe go another inch or two, and then I'm going to put it on a longer cable needle and try it on. This is a 24-inch cable that I'm knitting on right now. So yeah, you can tell a little bit of difference too right here because I was knitting with frogged yarn. And then right here is where I came to the unknitted yarn. And I am alternating skeins. So one of them had never been knitted before. The other one had been knitted a little bit into a gauge swatch. So I unraveled that because clearly I need every yard based on the yardage requirements of 800 yards. And that is what I have. So I'm hoping that there is some fluff built in to the pattern. However, I also want to knit mine with short sleeves, truly as a tee, and the pattern shows them going down to the elbow. So that'll give me a little bit of play with yardage on, you know, the body because I'm not going to do the sleeves as long. Worst case scenario, I could do the sleeves in this, but I think it would be very visible. So unfortunately, I don't think anyone else has this color anywhere. So I can't get it on D-Stash, but that's okay. I think the alternating is going really well. I didn't alternate skeins down in the lace portion because nobody has time for that. That sounds ridiculous. And it's so patterned, like you're not going to see the difference anyway. It's really once you get into stockinette more that you can truly see the difference in indie dyed yarns. So I'm using the helical knitting method for alternating my skeins. I have my grapefruit donut progress keeper from Little Bitty Delights. And this is a set of stitch markers from One Geek to Craft Them All. One Geek to Craft Them All made this set. So most of them are just this little bobble. And then this is my round marker. That's a little rain cloud. There's two sides to it. This is kind of the duller side. And it's got a little drop on it. I don't know which side is the right side, but anyway, I use the shiny side. And this one keeps flipping. I don't know why. Whatever. So that is my Tinea so far. And like if I stretch it out, see how big it can get. So I'm not concerned at all. It's going to be great. I'm really excited to finally have this yarn knit up. I have had this yarn in my stash for many and many a year. Probably since before Joshua was born, I think. I'd have to go back and look for exactly when I added it to my stash, but I did add it to my stash kind of right after I bought it. So I would say it's either when I was pregnant with Joshua or before I was pregnant with Joshua. So many years, at least 5. And I am very, very happy with it. And I can't wait to have it to wear. Let me show you a close-up of that lace because it's so pretty. I love it. And I have it in a bag that was gifted to me by Sarah of the Love Sock Wool podcast, who I miss very much. I hope you're doing well, Sarah. I haven't heard from you in a bit. I'm sure she's busy with summer stuff. That is that. The other thing that I worked on, I've of course put under a million things because podcast failed. Okay, the other thing I worked on is a new cast on. So as I said, I finished the socks for Josh, and so I immediately cast on for a new pair because I've been wanting really badly to knit with this yarn. The tag's over there, so I'll go grab it. Okay, so this is Once Upon a Corgi in the Marie Cutie base, which is a Corriedale nylon blend, and it's in the dark and gloomy colorway. So it's 75% superwash Corriedale, 25% nylon, 443 yards. And I really love the colors. It is so cool. So it's more of a powdery blue. I'm getting that weird yellow lighting. And I think turning on my artificial light isn't going to make it any better. But it has browns and also some pops of red in there. And I think I got this from either Stitch in Time Bethel or Knit New Haven. Because I don't think I bought it. I'm pretty darn sure I didn't buy it at one of the shows that Gabby was at. I think I bought it at one of the local yarn stores that carries her yarn because since she also lives in Connecticut, she stocks in several of the different local yarn stores. So I believe it was in one of those. I have not got a lot of progress on it, but you know, it's my basic sock recipe for Josh, and I freed up needles so I could cast on. Oop. It's all tangled up. There we go. Okay. So there's my little beginning. It's really nice knit up, and I'm hoping it's going to be very durable socks for Josh, so we're going to try it out. I have 2 more skeins in this base, so fingers crossed it's good for him. I've heard good things about Corriedale and its durability, so I have one in Because Pumpkin Spice and one in Warm and Cozy. Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. And that's all I have for whips because Tinea is taking up all of my time, and I really haven't knit that much at work. I gifted the hat to Megwin's teacher. She really liked it, and I haven't worked on the other hat that I started at all this week. So, so my yellow fade, which will go on my needles very soon because of all my sweaters, my So Faded sweater that I knit out of Meg's yarn is my very favorite. I love wearing it. I love the way it fits me. And I want to have another one that can just be a wardrobe staple because that one I can just throw on all the time. And it looks really good even when it's like not been washed for a little bit. So, you know, superwash kind of relaxes and stretches out a bit, but it doesn't look bad when it's been worn for a while. So just to remind you, this is the beginning of my fade. So it is Life in the Long Grass in the cushion colorway. My second one will be this one, which is Bad Wolf Girl Studios in the Beaubatons colorway. Dear God, this green. And this camera. Boop, boop. My third colorway was going to be this one, which is I'm Ready to Wallow Now in the Adelaide Cottage yarns. And my fourth color was going to be this one. Have you tried the fried cheddar curds? However, I don't know. So my pink fade has taught me that if you're going to use speckled, variegated yarns, that then introducing a semi-solid, which this basically is, looks weird. So I kind of felt like, which is why I hadn't cast it on yet. I wasn't sure about it. Wasn't sure about adding this one. And with all the others, you can see it looks a lot more gold, and it is more gold. So, no. So I considered this one, which is a leftover from Fig Bash. And it is from my, is it Coastline or Shoreline shawl? I think it's Shoreline shawl. But it's a single, so it's a nouveau. And I was a little concerned that since it's going to be my last color, it's going to be the one on the bottom of the sweater, and it's going to be rubbing on things. It's going to be the thing I'm pulling on when I'm adjusting my sweater. So I kind of didn't want to put a singles on the bottom, and I don't have a lot of it left. So it would not allow me to do a long portion on the bottom and also do sleeves and stuff. So yeah. But then I remembered I have Fig Bash in Blitzed. So the thing I like about this one, which is what I think will make it work better, is that it has all of the same undertones as this one. So it's kind of a darker version of I'm Ready to Wallow Now. So do you see how it's got the blues and the pinks? They're warmer in this skein, and the golds get a little more deep, but you're in that same color family, and you're just kind of progressing in the depth and saturation of the same colors that are present in this skein. So I really think this is a better match. This is a better fade. And now that I've got that final piece, I feel much better about moving forward with it. So this will get cast on very soon, probably this weekend, just so I can have it on the needles. But I may not get a lot further with it because I do really want to focus on completing my Tinea, so I have it to wear for summer. But I'm very happy with this fade, and I felt like this was the missing piece. So now I'm ready to cast it on. So that is that. I just need to wind it up. I will do that today. Oh, I did have one more finished object, but I don't have it with me. So I essentially made this bag, but in a smaller sock size version, because I had offered to donate a prize for the Solidarity Make-O-On, which was part of the Solidarity Swap. So it was like after that, you could use your yarn and or pattern to make something. So they wrapped that up, and I donated a prize. So I made a smaller version of a pumpkin bag, same inner liner, same outside. I used a brown zipper instead of an orange one just because I couldn't find any orange zippers at this time of year. I bet there's something that's more common at Halloween. And I also used an orange ribbon handle for it as well. So that's already been sent off to its recipient. I did take a picture though, so I will insert that here. And yeah, I used a heavier interfacing for it too. Since it was a really small bag like that, I assumed it'd be one that people would use more like almost like a bucket, basket, yarn bowl type thing. So that way it can stand and really be molded open. So hopefully the recipient enjoys it, and she should be getting it pretty soon. I'm still waiting for my Solidarity Swap package. I know it was sent like over a month ago, and I don't have it yet, so I'm a little worried. I am in contact with the swap organizers though, so you know, we'll see what happens. And I'm wearing my Sperry today, so see, don't you love this neckline? It's so nice. I love it. I love how it sits on my shoulders, and it is really nice. So, and then in terms of acquisitions. So last time I podcast, I mentioned that my friend Andrea sent me some yarn along with the strawberry shortcake tuft woolens. So here it is. And she sent me 3 skeins of this. So I might be able to make a sweater, or maybe, I think I can make a sweater for Megwin. I don't know if she would think this is too scratchy though. I don't think it is. But this is the Celestial colors from Patton's Croissants FX. So it has almost like a marbling gradient type quality to it. The FX line, they kind of gradiate down into the colors and then back. So it's self-striping, but a gradient self-striping. So thank you, Andrea, for those 3 skeins. I'm sure I will figure out something cool to do with them. Whether it's socks or maybe a sweater for Megan. I think it would be really cool as a sweater with like a white stripe. So if you made like this kind of, but with white stripes and purple stripes. I kind of want to make another, what is that? A honey sweater for Megan because she outgrew hers and I want to make her a new one. And that would be really cool because she loves purple and red. Okay. The next thing I got is Tommy, who is the dyer behind Moonstone Dye Works, was having a sale in her shop, like a customer appreciation sale for 20% off. So I had been eyeing her mini skein set that she just released. And so obviously like 20% off kind of is like free shipping basically with just a little bit more discount. I think 15% essentially makes it so that shipping would be covered. And then 20% like you get an extra 5% off. So here's her logo. And I'm always happy to support, you know, indie dyers, of course. And here is the mini skein set. It is so beautiful. So it's based on the moons, and I love all of the different moons of different planets. So I was really excited when she said she was dyeing something to, you know, match those. So it is Io, Phobos, Enceladus, Callisto, and Triton. And they're kind of rainbow as well. So orange, yellow, greenish. This one's like an icy blue and a purple. So I instantly thought of the Rainbow Wings shawl by Mina Phillip, and it's part of the Minilicious club that she's doing right now. So it's different things you can do with mini skeins, which I have a lot of mini skeins. And I thought it would be a good way to rethink how to use those. It's a really cool kind of triangular shawl, but it's got the depth of a crescent-shaped shawl, but it has that point. And the thing about crescent-shaped shawls, like that roundness, sometimes I don't know what to do with that for styling. So I really like the shape of the Rainbow Wings shawl. And she used, I think, a set of minis from Hue Loco. But I think I'm going to use these. And then I have another mini skein set that I purchased before from Tommy. That was her, like, her shop anniversary bundle. And I think I will take one from that bundle because you need 6 mini skeins. I think Mina used 12, but her mini skein yardage was half the yardage of these. So these are 20 grams each and hers were 10 gram each mini skeins. So if I have 6 of 20 grams, then I have enough. I have the same yardage. And what I'm going to use as the main color, so it takes 1 full skein of a main color and then the 12 or 6 contrasting, is this one, which is Crescent Moon. So we're keeping the moon theme going. And it is like a light silvery gray purple almost, with speckles of blue and brown, darker gray, and purple. It's a beautiful skein of yarn. Tommy does these really amazing, like subtle colors with speckles. Just gorgeous. So that as the base with these. So I'll probably have, I'll start with something that's pinky. So that'll be what's touching this. And then, we'll go out towards the blue and purple. So that'll be the furthest away because it's kind of similar. It's obviously a lot more purple, this one, but I think it would blend a lot if it were right next to this. But I think it will tie it together really well with that being the final color. So that's my plan. So this will be a rainbow wing shawl. And it's not enough yardage for a sweater, so I won't go, no, I'm actually going to knit a sweater, because that's what I keep doing. I love shawls, but as soon as I have enough that I could make it a sweater, I just make it a sweater. This is where my head's at right now. I don't know why. So that came in the mail last week. And then in terms of sewing, I bought a couple of patterns and some fabric when I was at the fabric store. So this was in like the 70% off bin. And it's so cute. So it's a seersucker fabric in like this beautiful orange with white dots. I think it's going to be amazing for summer for Megwin. I had a lot of summer dresses in seersucker. It's a very nice, light, breathable fabric. And it dries very quickly, so I think this will be nice to have as sundresses to pull over her head after swim lessons, which she's going to start really soon at the lake that's down the street from our house. I'm really excited for her to know how to swim because she wants to know, and Joshua's going to learn this summer as well, so we can spend lots and lots of time at the lake because we live by a lake, so we should be enjoying it. So that's my fabric. And then patterns, I got a new look pattern that is meant for knits, and this is obviously for me, but it has a dress, and then you can use that same pattern for top and for a skirt. So she's wearing kind of the skirt top combo, but I thought that dress is really cute too. And it's the same kind of idea as the one I made for Megwin, that it's got this neckline that's gathered. But I think it'll be really pretty and nice for summer. And again, I have a lot of knit fabric, so I need to start sewing it up into dresses. And then this one is another new look pattern, and it has pants or shorts. I bought it for the shorts, but it's also cute as pants. So you can see there the shorts version with the little tie belt as well. So yeah, I think that'll be nice. I think it'd be really nice to make some linen pants in this style for summer, because it's actually not warm enough here very much for shorts. I feel like I'm cold right now. I'm in my house and I've got this sweater on and I'm cold. So yeah, and it's mid-June. And then I found this pattern, which is also a new look pattern, and it is also for knits, but it's a basic kind of gathered skirt type one. I'm not so sure about the one that has the ruffle across it, but this one is super cute. And it's a nice basic silhouette. Again, like something that you could pull over your head and just go, or she could keep using it. So Megwin will often keep using dresses that have become too small for her as tunic shirts. And this is a great shape silhouette for being a tunic later. Just a couple of patterns. Again, they were like, it's when they're the $2.99 sale. I try to pick them up if I see things that I like. And then last thing I got is I went to my local yarn store, which is Village Wool, and they were having, well, they always have 70% off in their clearance area, and they put like discontinued yarns or things that are the off season. And they had a bunch of Debbie Bliss Fine Donegal, which I know that's because Debbie Bliss is going out of, or has gone out of business. But it was a really nice tweed, and it's very similar to Rowan Fine Tweed. So my thought was, I have a lot of those tiny balls of Rowan Fine Tweed. So I was like, these would make great colorwork sweaters because it is 100%, well, it's 95% wool, 5% cashmere. Not superwash. So it will be great for color work, and I can use those small balls of Rowan Fine Tweed for contrasting colors. So I have like a navy, white, black, and that raspberry, the dark raspberry color that I was using on my Eulabuck mittens. So anyway, 70% off. I think for all of this yarn, which is basically 2 sweater quantities, maybe 3 if I striped a third one, for like 40 bucks or something like that. It was crazy, crazy good deal. So I couldn't pass that up. So I got this color, just a really nice tweed with those natural flecks and some, it's like a seafoam green. So like darker pink, cream, and seafoam green are the tweedy flecks. And this is a really soft tweed too. It's probably that little bit of cashmere that gives it that nice soft feel. And I have a ton of Jennifer Steingass patterns, pretty much every one that she's ever published. I have it either because it was in Lane magazine, which I have those, or I purchased it. She often will run like specials. She has one constantly going that I think it's buy 4 or 3, get the 4th free. So yeah, this is going to be really pretty. And I think I'll use the raspberry color and maybe some cream as contrasts on the yoke. That's one of the colors I got. They also had an orange and a black, and I'm really tempted to go back and get those too. Because I love tweed. You can't go wrong with tweed. The other one is this really pretty blue color. And it has just darker, like navy speckles with cream speckles as the tweedy flecks. And then this one, they just had one single ball, but I was like, it would be a really good contrast. So it's a navy with lighter blue, that seafoam again, and kind of raspberry flecks of tweed. But yeah, those would be really great as together as a sweater. It'd almost be the inverse of my Cipolla sweater as far as coloring goes. It's a little more teal than that, but this color is definitely in the range of Lady of the Lake. I love my local yarn store, and I bought the buttons. My mom bought those little ducky buttons for her baby cardigan she was knitting that she showed last time she was on the podcast, and she wanted to have like a spare to give the family. And then I think she had miscounted and thought there were 2 on each side, and there's actually 3 on each side. So I got 4 more for her. is pretty much everything I have to show for this week. We're getting the playset finally delivered. So the kit for my husband to build it is coming today, sometime between 3 and 5, we think. That's the window they gave us. So hopefully that is right on. We got our dishwasher fixed, which is nice. So it's working again. That's good. I know, first world problems not having a dishwasher, but I spent all of my childhood and most of my adult life not having a dishwasher. We only had one once we bought our first house. So I've only had a dishwasher for about 11 years, but having kids, like, it's such a wonderful convenience, and I missed having it when it was broken. So it is nice to have that fixed again. And we're just gearing up for summertime and being able to do stuff outside. We're going to go camping pretty soon. Our plan is to work our way through all of the national state parks in Connecticut. There are 13 of them, so we're just going to, go to each one. And once we've finished all of that, if we're still camping at that point, and if it's not too cold to do more, then we will go back and revisit the ones that we really enjoy. That is really all I've got to share in terms of life stuff. I'm going to work on sewing a pair of shorts for Megwin out of this fabric. This is like some fabric I got from my mom. I don't really know what she intended to do with it. It's crazy. It's like crazy Americana fabric. And, yeah. I would maybe sew it into a project bag, but it isn't something that I would ever wear. But I don't think Megwin will care, and it's going to be it's enough fabric for me to test out the pattern I want to do. So I'm essentially going to use the same pattern that I used for that little skirt out of the chemistry fabric. It's an American Girl pattern, and I've shown it before because I've made that skirt a ton. But there is a shorts version here. Oh, come on. There we go. So this one is shorts. Can't really tell. So I'm going to make that out of these. I usually omit the buttons just because they're decorative buttons anyway and kind of superfluous to put buttons on there. And it's just one extra step. So I have navy bias tape. So I know I can face the pockets with that. And as I said, it's just extra fabric I had lying around. So if the fit sizing doesn't work out, then it's okay. I'm not gonna cry too much over it, and I can always just cut it up and make like a patchwork bag at that point. So that is my plan to do today. I've almost finished with drafting the pattern, having to go up a bit from the sizing that I had for that skirt. It's still okay, but I want to give her room to be able to grow and maybe wear the shorts for 2 years so that I'm not re-sewing a bunch of shorts, and I'm giving her a lot of extra length on them so that they'll fit next summer as well. So until next time, I hope that you all get to spend time doing the things that you love, and I will talk to you soon. All right, bye-bye.
Hey guys, so I thought I'd show you the plants we planted yesterday. So we planted some thyme. That's what this one and this one are. They're not woolly thyme, sorry, lemon thyme, I think. Some basils, some oregano, some chives. I think these are garlic chives, and rosemary. So this is just a little herb garden patch, and this is near the kitchen. Sorry, I'm also carrying a trash bag down. And then over here, there were some raised beds that were here when we bought the house. So we're kind of trying to reclaim those because they were full of weeds. So we just put cardboard boxes down. And then this year I'm just going to grow our tomatoes in soil bags. So these are some organic raised bed soil that has like worm casings and a bunch of other stuff in it. But you actually can grow tomatoes out of soil bags, and then when you're done with it, you just dump it. So we'll do that, and then slowly, we'll build in soil. But I think we're going to move our raised beds to a different part of the yard because this is on our retaining wall part of the yard, and we kind of want it to be up front with the orchard. So I'm going to walk over towards the orchard and get a nice view of the backyard while I do that. There's our woods. Hopefully in a couple of weeks we will get our new swing set kit. Josh is going to build a new swing set for the kids. But, you got to buy the swings and stuff. These are our hydrangea bushes. There's like a weird little set of growth there that we have to trim off. We have 2 of them. This is a Rose of Sharon bush, and this is a weeping something, some kind of weeping tree. It's ornamental though, it's not anything special. So we hadn't cleaned up all of our potting mess, but we will. This is a holly, I think. So here in the front, I left the little sticks so that I would know what they were in case we wanted to get another one. But I planted milkweed and coneflower. That one's a sangria red color. This one is a yellows mix, so it should have a couple different yellows. This one is, I think, just a traditional, like the pink echinacea flower. And then that one is, what is it called? A cardinal flower. It has like trumpety red flowers on it. So it should be really good for hummingbirds, which we have a lot of. And then all around there were these strawberries, and I believe they are actually native strawberries, so we're kind of leaving those alone. We're going to see what happens with the fruit. They do have fruit on them. So there you can see some little tiny berry starts. So I don't know if those are ones that the previous owners planted or if they are wild. I did see a toad in this bed yesterday, and he was so cute. Toads are like one of my favorites. The amphibian family in general is my favorite. So then we added to this bed. So this is the first of our permaculture beds. So the trees we have are a peach, a pear, and a cherry. The pear needs to be pruned pretty heavily. It didn't get pruned very nicely, so I'm coming to terms with the fact that it's going to get chopped the crap out of. That's fine. My husband will do it. And here, sorry, if this is shaky. So this is a strawberry plant, chives, strawberries, blueberry, daylily. This is a currant. I don't know if it's a black or red currant. Some kale, nasturtium. In the back is another currant. This guy. Chives. Chives. This is raspberry or blackberry. They're hard to tell apart. Strawberries, kale, more nasturtium. Another currant. That one's black because it still has the tag. Yes, Joshua? I said I was going to check on all the plants. Well, I mean, you won't be sad if you listen to me when I tell you where I'm going, right?
Okay, this one's a black raspberry. So it has the tag still. This one is like a hybrid blueberry. So it is 3 kinds of blueberries grafted together. So it should bear fruit on different parts of the plant at different times. Another strawberry, another daylily, another strawberry, raspberry, raspberry. And like I said, that's a cherry tree. So we're experimenting with this kind of gardening. It's supposed to be very dense so that you don't have okay. You can't eat those peaches yet. They're not ready. They're not even nearly big enough. They're babies. But you can't. Well, that would be like one bite for you, so it wouldn't be very fun anyway.
It would taste yuck.
Yeah, it would taste yuck right now. So we are experimenting with this kind of gardening. Essentially, you put so many. You got a spider web on you? Yeah. You put so much food in that it can't get weeds.
I see something moving
So,
on me.
okay, well, maybe you should go back in then. So we'll see how it goes, but I'm excited to, learn about this way of gardening. And then probably next spring, well, in the fall we'll probably do this, but next spring we would act on it. We're going to take this fence down. I'm doing a video, buddy. And then that area will be our chicken area.
Our mommy,
I'm talking to other mommies all over the world.
You're talking to our mommy.
Mm-hmm.
Is that our size you have our...
I have another mommy. Yeah. Okay, so that area behind the fence, which we don't use at all, the previous owners had a dog, so they built that fence for their dog. But we're going to take that fence down, and that is where our chickens will be. And then they'll be able to, have some access here to our garden when we let them. And then otherwise, they'd be up in that area. And then where these stakes are, you can kind of see them in the ground, is marked out for the next row of trees. And we'll probably do those next year because we don't want to bite off too much this year. But that's where we would put apples, because we don't have any apples yet. Probably another peach and another pear. He's looking for the toad. Okay, bud. And if anybody knows what this is, it's growing wild in the forest, but it's super cool. I love its really fuzzy leaf thing on its flowers. Let's see. We have a lot of wildflowers right now, and I don't know any of them because I'm not a Connecticut native, so, I don't know what these pink ones are in the forest. And then, oh boy, I do know if you look back by the creek, let me see if I can zoom this in. Yeah, this plant right here that's got the variegated leaves, that is lungwort. And I think it's so cool that it grows native here. It has really pretty flowers, and it's a shade lover. There's a lot more of those pink flowers inside the woods here, but I can't obviously get to it because it's very dense here in the underbrush to get to our creek. And I think it was a month ago we saw a mink running around in our along the creek bed here, which was really cool. You doing your ninja moves, bud?
No, I am doing stuff. Ooh.
Just doing stuff? Okay. Cool. So that's our little fruit garden and our herb garden and our raised beds for now. Like I said, I think eventually the raised beds will be here. The kids don't really play in the front yard, so the thought is our front yard would be all food producing. And then our backyard would be the play area.